Hello everyone, today we are back on Path of Exile and I'm going to share with you what I consider to be one of the best builds for a beginner player to achieve the end game, which is the map. So you see right now I'm level 66 and the map are here. So I can start the map. I finalize the campaign and I think this build is really strong and powerful. For the record, I started recording this video prior the nerf that happened on the 12th of December 2024, and I finished recording it after the nerf, meaning that everything that I say in this video as I'm assembling it is after the nerf. So I took this into consideration. I believe this build is still extremely powerful. So let's dive right into it. So this build is possible when you unlock the skill Comet. If you have not unlocked the skill Comet yet, I have done two videos, which is Stop Dying in Path of Exile 2, Part 1 and Part 2, that is explaining you how you build the character from 0 to the time that you are unlocking Comet. So you can have a look into it. If you have unlocked the skill Comet, then you can start playing that build. Okay, so this is where I left you with the talent skill tree last time. If you're not sure why I take this point or not this point, you can watch the video before I explain this in details. Just to sum up a little bit what I'm doing, I try to have a lot of survivability. The reason for that is I think that dodging everything perfectly is not viable in the game for most of the player if you're not extremely good at the game. So I want to build a lot of shield, and as you can see on my character I'm going to show you, I have something that is close to 2000 shield, which is allowing me with the pool of HP that I have behind to tank a lot of things on bosses and achieve maps in general. So this is where I left you. So we wanted to go for this point and we started the high part here. So the first thing that I can say is now when you unlock Comet, you are going to remove this and you are going to go to Arcane Surge here. This is really good. Now the other things that you can do step by step is removing those points. You don't need crit anymore. Removing those points. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You will also proceed with the second trial and you are going to get 2 points extra in here that I recommend you go and you go on force will, which is going to help you with your mana handling. Then with the point that you refound, so I'm talking about the 3 here and the 3 here, so that's 6. Use them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go that direction first. Then after you finalize here, and I will explain you why later in the skill part, then you take those ones. Then here you can unlock those 2. And I just wanted to say that here you see we are very close to KO inoculation. So if it happens that one day one boss, like a pinnacle boss or anything like this, is heavily doing chaos damage, with the build that I'm showing to you right now, it's very easy to go CI and to rely only on your shield to tank. I have right now 1800 shield, so probably that's something that I will consider if I need to. Then that's the end of the side note that I wanted to say. And then after you can go here. And then you do this. So what I just, sorry, this. What I just showed you, you can do it in the order that you want. I think the most important part of the build is these 3 here. Then these 2, this part, and this part is preferential. I will start by this one, then go that one, then go this one. That's my recommendation, but I think they are all okay to do. Then you can take this, which is also quite good. When you finalize that, you have finished the campaign. So there is only 32 points that is remaining. So usually 32 points is when you have finished the campaign, and it's when you're starting to go through maps. I haven't done that part yet, so I cannot comment on something that I'm not sure about. I don't like to do that. So right now, this is what I have in mind, but for the later part, I will probably do another video. The things that I'm considering, this is I can share with you, it's going this route here and potentially take that node. So I can also take this one. The other things I'm considering is going there, but I don't know what I'm going to lack, if I'm going to lack survivability or if I'm going to lack damage in general. Oh, there is one thing that I forgot is actually you can also do this. You refound that node, you can place it here. From there, you can place another node here and you can remove those two. So now you can go this way here. So I think this is nicer and this you don't need. So there is just one of out of the two that you need. So now let's dive into the skills and how I use them. So you have Frostbolt. Frostbolt, you are going to have Glaciation and Scattershot. The idea is that this is going to build up a lot of freeze and you are going to freeze the enemy. When the enemy are frozen, you can cast Comet here, Comet, that has Spell Cascade that is extremely strong. And I am using right now inevitable crit and super crit. So at some point it's going to build up the crit and it's going to do a massive burst of damage. I really like Spell Cascade on the comet that I'm using like this because the area of comet is so huge that even if I'm dealing less damage with comet itself, the fact that there is 3 that are dropping is much stronger anyway. So this is extremely strong on comet. For the cast and freeze, my recommendation is the following one: is you start with comet, then you go with energy retention, and then you go with impetus. If you have a 4 slot like I do, you can use spell echo, but this is mandatory. And I will explain you why it's mandatory. So this is a little bit of math. So if you don't like math, you can skip to the next part. I'm just going to put a skip here. But if you want to understand why I'm doing this, then I will explain to you. So the way cast and freeze works is that every time you freeze an enemy, you are going to get energy. So energy, you need to reach 300 energy to trigger cast and freeze. And by the way, this has been nerfed yesterday. It used to be 100, so it was much easier to reach it. And the energy you get every time you froze an enemy, it used to be 100, and now it's 10. So it's been nerfed as well. But it's not a problem. So the first thing that you want is to have energy gain modifier, and this you get it through the talent trees that we've seen before. So the talent tree here, we get energy from those things. So more energy, more energy, more energy, and this is something else. So this is bringing you more energy. Now, if we are going back to there, and the cast and freeze, you see that every time you freeze an enemy, you have a bonus of 106%. So roughly every enemy you froze, you are going to get, with my build, 20 energy. So that means that you need to freeze 15 enemies to get the 300. But what is good is that with this node here, energy retention, you have 35% to get 150 energy back, which is half of the maximum energy. And with the node that I have here, you have another 25%. So that's 60% of getting 150. So overall, if you multiply 60 by 50%, that's 30%. So you are going to reduce this in an average of 30% because more than half of the time you are going to start again with 150 energy. So it's going to be much easier to build up to the 300 here. This is why we want to use energy retention. Now, impetus, this is something that is bringing you energy gain modifier. As you can see, if I remove it, I move from 66 to 104 to 66. So this is providing you more energy. This is providing you some chance to trigger spill to refund half of their energy cost. With this base, you're good to go. And I will show you some footage. You saw some footage before, but I'll show you some footage showing you that it actually works. Now, on the skills that you want to use out of this, you want to use Frostwall. Frostwall is very important, and actually this is what you want to use on unique mobs or on bosses. The idea with Frostwall is you want to have Ingenuity, reducing the cooldown of Frostwall. This is helping a lot on bosses. You want to have Icicle to have less life, because when the wall is going to be destroyed by bosses, it's going to shatter, dealing massive damage. So the less life he has, and the more damage you're gonna do to the boss. And what I like is support skills as 30 more damage with it. And ailment, this is providing you more damage. Even if it cannot crit, you're not building crit, so this is completely fine. Then Frostbomb. Frostbomb is very important. Early on, it allows you to deal damage. Now, what is really, really important for is because it provides exposure. Exposure is really strong because it's going to reduce the resistance to a certain damage type. And you have a lot of talent that you took here, so, such as this one, that is increasing exposure effect. And the more exposure you have, the more damage you're gonna deal. So this is something that is going to be quite useful. Then arc, I don't need it. I mean, I use it as like a filler, but I don't really need it. Cast and freeze we talk about. Hypothermia. Hypothermia is cursing the boss to be able to do more damage. It's going to lower even more the cold resistance that the boss has, and to be even stronger, what I do is you start with Enhanced Curse, so it deals more curse. It reduces even more the resistance of the boss. You go on expand. I think this is good for two reasons. First, you're gonna have a larger zone of area of effect, so it's easier to hit the boss. And the second thing is because it provides you a cooldown. I know that sounds stupid, but cooldown is really good. Because I have the tendency to spam it and it drains my mana a lot. And now, because I have a cooldown, then I know when it's up again, because 6 seconds of cooldown, it's exactly the time that the curse's duration is 7.2, so it's very similar. So every time it's going down, I know that I need to cast it again to have a uptime of 100%. And the last thing that I like but is not necessary is because ground is going to leave the zone on the ground, and then if the boss is staying on it, then it's going to be affected for a longer period of time. Then we have Mana Tempest, which is an area that you drop, and every time you cast something into it, you're gonna do extra damage, which is pretty nice. It's going to drain your mana a lot. So usually what I do is that I start with Frostbomb, I curse, then I do my wall, and when the boss is trapped, you can use Mana Tempest, and then you cast Comet, which is going to explode all the wall and deal a lot of damage. We have then next we have Comet, and I explain you what I want to do with this. And when you finalize the Act 3 in Cruel difficulty, you're gonna get 40 spirit more. And what I recommend is that you go for Arctic Armor, and you go for Clarity, bringing you more mana regeneration, and you go for Cold Exposure, meaning that every time you get hit, you inflict exposure on the enemy. This is particularly good on bosses because you are going to struggle sometime to hit them with Frostbomb. So you're not going to provide exposure on them, but because you have your Arctic Armor, if they hit you, they are going to get exposure one way or another. So this is pretty nice, and this is why I like to have this on my Arctic Armor. So now I'm going to show you how this build is operating on bosses and then on Trash Mob right now. So I'm going to talk about the video that I recorded when I was doing the first boss at the end of Act 1 in Cruel difficulty with my friend. So you will see us speaking French in general, but I will try to lower down when we speak in French to not to bother you, but you see really like when we did it. You see, as I start the video, I am 35% in cold resistance. Cold resistance is very important on that boss. My build is quite strong even if I am at 35% cold resistant, which is not that high when you are trying to kill a boss for the first time. So as you see, the boss is landing, and the first thing I do is I curse the ground and I start with Frostbomb, so I can debuff the boss, and then after I throw all my wall of ice, and you see already the chunk of damage that he took. So this is the entering combo that you do. I could have used buffing my damage, but I don't need this for the phase 1. So at the moment I'm just spamming Ice Wall, called Frost Bomb, and when it's frozen, I'm just like throwing everything I have to him. You can see my mana is dropping very quickly, so that's what I was saying. Regarding my shield, you see I make no effort to dodge anything, and I don't mind. Like, the build is so tanky that I'm not even losing my shield, and I have 1000 life behind my shield. So right now we are destroying him, just using the strat that I explained you. So now you transition to phase 2 and I will fast forward certain part of the fight.
I need to know more. Since you are too weak to do the job, I've given you.
You see that big AoE that he's doing and doing a lot of damage, I don't mind. Okay, so like you notice now, my friend just died. So just to explain you, the boss is scaled for 2 people. So from now on, I'm alone and the boss is scaled for 2. So he's much stronger than the boss that you face if you are alone in this arena. And he has more than half of his HP on phase 2. Allez, sorry, il sort beaucoup plus vite hein, là. As you can see, every time that I manage to not be eaten for like 2 seconds, my shield is just skyrocketing. So that is giving you so much survivability, and this is why I believe this build is really strong. By far my favorite boss. The music, the 2-phase, the atmosphere that he creates is just chilling and so amazing. Complete masterpiece.
Swift as death, and imbued by the moon, cursed or gifted, branded and afflicted.
Okay, I feel so comfortable that I'm just going to raise mid-fight my friend, because even if I hit some AoE, I just don't mind. Dies a second time because apparently in this game Glass Cannon is OP.
Impossible de l'éviter là.
Allez, ça dégage. Okay, so I hope this extract of me fighting one boss is convincing you that this build power in bosses is extremely strong. We are going to move to the next part, which is very much quicker than this one, and it's about how do I deal with open world monsters. So the first thing you can see in the video is I try to use choke points and then I create wall that will allow me to block the monster from me. So the wall that I used have 2 utility. First, it prevents the monster from rushing to me, and then the second one is that is going to increase the damage of all the monsters that are stacked behind the wall when the wall is going to break. Then the second thing that I do is I cast my orbs to freeze them, and I cast Comet with the spell Cascade that is going to deal massive amount of damage. So in this version of the build, your damage is not really like I freeze, I get the Comet for free, and then everything is dead. What you do instead is you freeze them with the wall, you cast yourself the Comet, and this is how you deal the damage. When you have your energy that is proccing, you get extra Comets that are doing even more damage, and this is pumping up overall damage that you have. But as you can see right now, it's pretty easy to have everything done through the Act 3 Incredible difficulty. And those features, they were realized after the nerf, so it's completely okay to use it. This is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you see, if it helped you, please leave a sub, a comment and a like. This is going to help me tremendously. As you see, the channel is really young, so every sub is counting for me right now. I hope that this helped you building something that is reliable and will allow you to achieve the end game with the maps. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.